I guess we kind of have to. I mean, Lewis kind of set us up to talk about it, didn't he? These comments about Max not having as strong a teammates as he. My main question is why? What do we think? Because whenever these drivers speak, right, and especially a driver like Lewis Hamilton, you know, he's one of the biggest names in the sport and arguably the biggest kind of name, not just within the sport, but outside the sport as well. When he talks, people listen. And the point... What's the point, I guess? What's he trying to achieve? Because I feel like there's always a plan behind these. Yeah. Whether it's Lewis or Christian Horner or Toto or Max or whoever, there's always a point, surely.
The plan, I'm not sure. What he said was like, Max has not dealt with the caliber of teammates that I have. I mean, there are two ways to read the comment. There's either Max's teammates, none of them have been better than any of mine. I think what he was trying to imply is that Max has never had a difficult teammate. I think that's kind of where the quote ends for me. I know you two probably disagree. But I think for me, he's basically saying, I've had Alonso, Jensen, as teammates. Max has had Checo, Ricciardo, Gasly, none of them compared to the best that I faced in my teammate.
I think what Lewis is trying to say, but didn't say, is that the body of work, like if you look at my teammates, I've come up against and beaten better teammates than what Max has. Like if you just look at the entirety of the story, right? What he said though was that every single one of my teammates, not verbatim, but the sentiment was that every single one of my teammates have been better than
which is
anything.
There's
no way that Kovalainen
has been
He was good, man. Not in that McLaren.
On his day.
He was all right,
junior career.
But more pertinently, like if you're comparing probably the best that Max has gone up against, maybe Danny Rick, I'd say Perez potentially. But Perez in 21, well, I suppose that's a good shout, but like I suppose it's a like for like. Perez in 21 versus Bottas in 21. Give me Perez. Every single day of the week.
I'm sorry, Bottas was arse in 21.
Absolute shambles.
I felt like he was willfully like that though.
You could be forgiven for thinking that.
It was like a given.
He was an absolute shambles.
Spain thing was just
no help.
What?
He actively hindered him.
He was a saboteur even. And so I don't know, Lewis has, I wish Lewis had phrased it ever so slightly differently. But to your point, Tommo, about the intention behind it, I think, and I can't blame him for this, I think Lewis is just like, all this good stuff is going on. Hello, over here, I'm Lewis Hamilton, and I won 7, and I'm still here. I genuinely think that's
there's a bit of Fernando about that. This is what Fernando does in his off seasons, right? He'll drive the car to 12th and say that was the greatest drive I've ever done, in the worst car I've ever driven.
Seeking, isn't it?
I think more just, as you say, making everyone remember, one, that he's there, and two, that the ability is still there.
And I don't.
These the human beings, they want credit.
I don't hate.
Well, they want credit for what they feel like they do a good job. And ultimately, if you're sat there as Lewis Hamilton, 7-time world champion, and you're hearing all this credit of Max Verstappen, you know, being like this amazing who destroys teammates and all that, of course you're going to be like, well, hang on, I did all this as well.
And it's so difficult in a sport where so much of it depends on what you are driving. So it's so easy for the casual fan to look at this and go, well, what happened? Lewis has just lost it between one season and the next.
Like in football, right? You can get a ball and you can dribble, you can take people on, you can demonstrate ability in isolation to yourself. You can fail as part of a team, but you can demonstrate impeccable ability in your. You can't do that.
You can't do it in a car.
Yeah, no, you
can't. You are inherently limited by the car that you're in.
You are, but you can still impress in the car that you're in.
But then people will be like, well, yeah, but maybe that's.
But everything is an inference.
But we've just. And then how good's the teammate? Like,
I guess we've just had that conversation about Albon and Sargent.
Whereas in football, you can see clear as that. You can be in a terrible team, but you can have this amazing player who could look Messi at fucking Inter Miami.
Yeah, he's evident dragging everyone with him.
But that's the thing, isn't it, about F1? Skill is implicit often because not everyone has the same car. Whereas, as you say, in football, it's very explicit. You can see what someone's doing with their feet.
Everyone has the same ball.
And you can see what they're doing. Like,
but Lewis's thing is different, right? Because people... I empathise with Lewis, saying that, because I understand what I reckon what's happened. Drive to Survive a lot have come in, and a lot of people can't remember 2040 Lewis Hamilton Abu Dhabi because they weren't there for it. They weren't there for it. So he's just trying to spotlight and just be like, well, hold on. do you like remember when I was quite good? I was a bit handy not too long ago. You lot are talking all this stuff about Max.
And we all have short memories, like
it's just recency bias, right? A lot of talking all this stuff about Max was the greatest and whatever, and he's very good, but I was all right as well, says Lewis.
Yeah. The question about that though, is it necessary? Right? And the reason I say that,
absolutely not, bro. But he's a he's got an ego. But give Lewis a bit of grace. But we said it on the stream already. Give him just a bit of grace because he's had a shit show of a time.
And I'll come back to my original point because I say, like, you know, for Lewis to say this, he must have a point. But also to argue with myself, maybe he doesn't. Maybe he's just being a human. Maybe he's just like
for once,
expressing himself, poking the bear, because he is a human being.